What is up, guys? I'm your friendly neighborhood web war fanatic, and we are here on a Tuesday with the new hero preview for Marvel Champions. And normally, Fantasy Flight Games drops a new hero article on Thursdays, but maybe because it's Thanksgiving coming up on this Thursday, so they're going to do a little bit early. So a little bit of a surprise, but here we go. Let's go ahead and jump into it here. This will be Nick Fury's official hero preview, and we're on the Fantasy Flight Games website here, and this is their article. So it says Agent Fury on the move, previewing Nick Fury, one of the two new heroes from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., this new campaign coming out in February, and Maria Hill was the other hero that we previewed earlier. Okay, I put my best agent on the case, Maria Hill. So we know that Maria Hill is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I guess in this iteration here of this campaign, Nick Fury will be her best agent here. And do know that in the comics, sometimes they switch who's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. here. So I guess Nick Fury is not a director like we know from like the MCU, but he's going to be just the best agent. You've seen the scenarios for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then you've seen one of his heroes, Maria Hill. Now it's time to preview the expansion's other hero, Nick Fury. Okay, so the first thing that I noticed about his alter ego card is that he's surfing here. I don't know how I feel about the surfing. Is he relaxing, or is he like kind of like doing a mission on his off days? I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but I mean that's pretty fun, I guess. He's surfing here, and he has a recovery stat of 4, so that's really good because the normal recovery stat that we're looking for is at least 3. So having any more than that is pretty good. His hand stats of 6 in alter ego, 10 hit points, so it's super duper normal, and staying on the hero form, hand stats of 5 is also very normal for a hero to have. And then he does have the shield, soldier, and spy traits, and he keeps this in his hero form as well. So soldier and spy and shield. Okay, so some very powerful traits there. And in suit up, you guys know I love suiting up. It's a setup here. Put your suit form upgrade into play, assault side face up. Okay, so I think it's a permanent upgrade. So Nick Fury is probably going to be playing around with his suit form upgrade. Infiltrates the action, change to stealth suit form. So I feel like we probably want to be in stealth suit form more often, right? It's probably the stronger side, because if we're stuck in assault side, you can flip down to alter ego and trigger this action here to change back over to stealth suit form. Nick Fury has a stat line here of 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. And he does have asterisks here for the 2 thwart. Hopefully it's a good thing. And yeah, that's kind of like the perfect style that we want for a hero. Gather intel is his thing for thwarting. As a response, after Nick Fury makes that basic thwart activation, you can place 1 threat on your suit form upgrade. Okay, so it's not a force response. We don't have to trigger it, but you place 1 threat. So it's kind of like a beat cop. We're putting a threat token, not an all-purpose token like Maria Hill, right? On your suit form upgrade. Okay, so you get a threat on there. Okay. I'm guessing we probably want to do that all the time, even though it's not a force response. I feel like it's probably an advantage to add threat there, but we'll see. Break covers his force interrupt. Whenever you attack, change to assault suit form. Okay, it's a force interrupt, so we have to trigger it. And whenever you attack, you have to change to assault suit form. Okay, so this really reminds me of Shadowcat here in her solid mass form and her phase mass form, because the phase mass form is a lot better than a solid mass form because you can't take damage if you're defending there, right? So we usually want to be in phase for Shadowcat, but her phase mass form, you're forced every single time she attacks or defends to flip back over to solid mass form. And in her solid mass form, there is no force thing to force her to flip over to her phase form. Nick Fury has a force interrupt that will force him to change over to the assault suit form. So I feel like we probably want to avoid being a solid suit form, right? It is a force interrupt, so it happens before the attack occurs. And it makes sense because, right, he's changing his suit to the assault side, I'm guessing. So maybe the stealth side is more like a thwarting form, and the assault side is more of a offensive type of form. I really want to see this suit form here. So top tier, he's a top tier spy, and then he is an expert at mitigating threats. Okay, I really like that. Maybe he'll have ways to prevent threat or mitigate threat from going on the main scheme when you flip down to alter ego. His playstyle revolves around the suit form upgrade. Okay, so here it is right here, the stealth side. It's an upgrade. It's a permanent item in tech, and it has a mental resource. I'm not sure that's going to be irrelevant. Force interrupt in hero form only. Okay, when an enemy would attack you, it schemes instead. So you have to trigger this every single time an enemy would attack. I don't know, actually, if I want to be in stealth form then, right? Well, I think that he definitely presents very interesting decision-making opportunities, because when an enemy would attack you, if you have a tough stats card to block it, or if you have an ally to block for you, it's probably better to just let them attack you than allow them to scheme. And it's force, so we want to be in assault form in that situation. But if you're about to die, then it would be good to be in that in the stealth suit form. But we could just be an alter ego to allow the enemy to scheme. So I'm not sure if this is an advantage. Place 1 threat from the activation here instead of on the main scheme if there is 5 or less threat on this card. Okay, so this is a villain schemes for like 3. Okay, it doesn't say villain actually. It says when any enemy will attack you, so including a minion, it schemes instead. Place one threat from the activation here instead of on the main scheme if there's 5 or less threat on this card. So they scheme for like 3. You prevent one of it. You put the threat on this card, and then 2 of it will go on the main scheme. And then if there's 5 or less threat on this card, then you can do that. If there's more than that, then all that will just go on the main scheme. So I feel like that's pretty bad. So if the enemy attacks you, you have like 6 threat on here, then all that threat goes on to the main scheme. And they don't attack either, they just scheme instead. I don't want the enemy scheming. This is the assault form, so the other side of that suit form upgrade. And then it's also permanent, it has a physical resource here. Let's interrupt whenever you attack. Remove up to 3 threat from here. This attack deals 1 additional damage for each threat removed this way. Okay, I feel like that's actually really, really powerful, right? Because it's not a force interrupt, so you don't have to trigger it. And it does not exhaust, guys. There's no exhausting here. So each time you attack, you can remove up to 3 threat here, and then it deals 1 additional damage for each threat removed. Okay, so if you make a basic attack, you can remove 3 threat, and then you're swinging for 5 instead of swinging for just 2. You play an attack event, you get additional +3. You can ready up, swing again, remove another 3 from here. That can be 9 total damage if you have that amount of threat on here, right? So if you have 9 threat on here, then you can do that. And then I feel like weapons will be really good with Nick, right? If maybe he'll have like a weapon in his kit. Hopefully he has like a rifle or something or some sort of gun so that he can use this more. But yeah, so I feel like we want to build out with Nick, and when we can accumulate a lot of threat on this suit form upgrade, that he can go crazy if you have multiple instances of damage for Nick Fury. That'd be really, really fun. And then let's see. This his alter ego side, we change him back to a stealth suit form. And then let's see. In stealth mode, Nick Fury's suit lets him hide from his enemies, forcing them to scheme even though he's in hero form. Okay, yeah, this definitely seems detrimental, so I'm glad that they pointed this out here. I definitely feel like it seems detrimental. The ability on stealth suit allows Fury to gather intel by stealing some of the threat. Oh, that's very thematic. I really like that. So you steal some of the intel, you put it on your suit instead. Patience is a virtue, and you charge at the suit. Okay, so you charge it up with a bunch of threat, and you have a significant payoff when you change the soft form, and then use all that to damage and do more damage. It's similar to charge the card from Gambit, where you can remove counters to do more damage for his attacks. Thanks to Fury's break cover ability, the switch to assault mode happens before the attack. Yeah, so then you can immediately start spending. Okay, that's cool. And then let's see, you can have an attack event like, okay, so it's attack event, concentrated fire, 2-cost event. Here, actually attack, do 4 damage to enemy. It gains ranged. Okay, if this attack defeats an enemy, so that's a kicker, and we have a special effect here if it does that. We can place threat on your suit form upgrade equal to enemy's printed scheme. Okay, so we want to defeat a minion and place more threat there, or if we defeat a stage of a villain, we can add their printed scheme there. But max will probably be like what, 3 schemes, so 1, 2, or 3 scheme going onto your suit form upgrade, or you can change the stealth suit form. Okay, I'm not sure that I want to still be in stealth suit form anymore, but yeah, it gives you the versatility to change there after playing this attack event. And then let's see, do up to, yeah, we can do 7 instead of just 4 if you use his hero ability, right? And remove 3 threat to give it more damage. And then let's see, an area attack like spray fire. So 3-cost event also has attack keyword. Choose a player through do 3 damage to the villain in each minion engaged with that player. This attack gains range as well. Okay, he has a lot of range attacks here through attack events. And then I don't like this effect that much. It reminds me of Iceman's Ice Blast, I think. So 3 damage to the villain in each minion engaged with the player. If you can get that effect off on like, 1 minion or 2 minions, that would be really good. But if there are no minions in play, you need to have the minions to really make this card be worthwhile. But if you use his effect, his hero ability, you can make this 6 to every enemy. Okay, that is crazy. So maybe Nick Fury might be fun in aggression. You like play like Bring It and like accumulate a bunch of minions, and you can wipe them all out with spray fire, and it would do so much damage. You can even take out like mid-range difficulty minions with like 5 or 6 hit points here, right, with the spray fire. That would be pretty cool. Let's see, if you got an excess of threat on a suit, you can even use Fury's Watch to help you pay for a big swing. 1-cost upgrade Fury's Watch, item and tech traits. Resource, you can exhaust the watch, remove up to 2 threat. So you can do 1 or 2. From your suit form upgrade, generate a mental resource for each threat you remove this way. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so it's a resource generator, but you can actually generate 2 mental resources here, which is really cool. Or just 1 if you do it, but you have to lose threat from your suit form upgrade. So this kind of reminds me of Iron Man's Pepper Potts, because she can also generate double. The top card in your discard pile has a double resource because she can copy that that double there. But you have to lose threat though, so I'm not sure if it's gonna be worth the payout to lose threat if you're trying to build out threat. But definitely having that resource generator and have the versatility to be able to generate two resources at one go, I think that's gonna be pretty cool, and it adds a lot of versatility here to his kit. All right, he has covert surveillance. The one cost event. This is his Thwart event here. Hero action: Thwart remove two threat from a scheme. If you're in stealth suit form, you may place that threat on your suit form upgrade. So you remove two and you put it on your stealth suit. Okay, so we really want to be in stealth suit, and there is no other kicker to this, right? Other than being in stealth suit. So it doesn't have to be the last threat removed. I hope he has 3 copies of this because I feel like that's a great way to add threat to your stealth suit form. And more consistently than like defeating a minion with this attack event, right? Because concentrated fire, you can only add, let's see, place threat if you defeat that enemy equal to their scheme, right? So here, if you just remove 2 from any threat, from a player side scheme, from a regular side scheme, or the main scheme, you can put it in your stealth suit, but you have to be in stealth suit. So we want to change there before we play this. So it might be a little bit difficult and interesting to play Nick Fury here. We really have to balance out being stealth suit and the assault form. Oh, otherwise you may change the stealth suit form. I should probably read these cards all the way out before I formulate my thoughts on them. But yeah, okay, so you can change, you may. So I like that you may, so you don't have to, you don't want to, but we do have the versatility to do that. I'm really hoping he has 3 copies of this card in his kit because I feel like he'll need it. 2 cost upgrade here, Secret Agent. It's a title keyword. Hero response after you resolve the ability of a preparation card you control. Okay, so he's playing with preps here, just like Black Widow. Move 1 threat from his scheme to your suit form upgrade. After you resolve the ability of a prep card you control. Okay, so this also does not exhaust. You move 1 threat from a scheme to your suit form upgrade. That's really powerful. We want to trigger a bunch of preps here for Nick Fury because you get a huge advantage from doing that, right? This will bypass stuff like patrol from the main scheme because it's not a threat activation. If you're confused, you can still do that, and you add to your suit form upgrade. So this is I feel this will be the main way to get threat on your suit form upgrade. And yeah, I feel like we want to put a bunch of preparations in Nick Fury's deck here. Hopefully he has some that he comes with. But yeah, this is a very cool card. This might be like the key card for Nick Fury. Of course, perform too many of those big attacks, you burn off all the threat. Yeah, so we're gonna lose all the threat if we make big attacks. So I probably want to build that all out at once. Thankfully, Nick Fury's got plenty of tricks and high-tech gadgets in his kit to help him build that threat back up. Normally, you would need to swap to Alter Ego before you change your suit back to stealth mode. But covert surveillance, what is this? Okay, yeah, this is the thing that gives you the option to do that while still being in hero form. Okay, so that's really cool. And then eye patch camera. Oh, what is this? A 2-cost upgrade. Here interrupt when any amount. This is a preparation right here. Okay, so when any amount of threat will be placed on the main scheme, discard this card. Place up to 3 of that threat on your suit form upgrade instead. Okay, a lot of nuances here. Okay, hero interrupt, so I cannot do this in Alter Ego. So this will be good for his hero ability. This would be good with his stealth suit form ability, where the enemy schemes, but you have to trigger this in hero form. Okay, it is a prep, so after you resolve this, you can move a threat from anywhere and put it on your suit form, and then you can discard this, prevent up to 3 of that threat. So it's similar to counterintelligence, also preventing 3 threat on your suit form upgrade instead. Discard eye patch camera. Place up to 3 of that threat on your suit form upgrade instead. So when any amount of threat is placed on the main scheme, you discard this card, and then you can place 3 of it instead. Okay, I think that you prevent all the threat that goes on the main scheme, right? If you do that, that's really powerful. So if the villain schemes for 10, when any amount of threat we place, so 10 threat goes on the main scheme, you discard this card, you place up to 3 of it on your suit form upgrade instead. Place up to 3 of it. Do they still scheme for 7? Because it says instead, so instead of, okay, when any amount of threat we place on the main scheme, you place up to 3 of it on your, man, I don't know, guys, because if you can prevent all 10, but you only place 3, that's really good, even though you only do 3. But if you only place 3 and they still scheme for 7, that does not, I don't think that helps against the higher difficult scenarios like, I don't know, like Venom Goblin or Magneto can scheme for such high amounts. I don't know if that would be that good. Yeah, we'll see, guys. If you guys know the ruling on that, definitely let me know. I'm not sure how this card will work, but it can be really powerful if you can prevent all of it. Actually, maybe I should just read this article, which could get you as much as 3 threat on the suit at once. And it's a preparation card, so after you resolve it, you can use his secret agent, this thing, and move a threat anywhere. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't explain that. Okay. 1-cost upgrade here, Informant. So this is a justice aspect card here. Max 1 per player. It's a prep here, so probably really good for Nick Fury and probably Black Widow as well. As an interrupt, when a minion schemes, discard Informant. This activation removes threat instead of placing it. Okay, that's really cool. Oh, this is so cool. And anyone can play this. It's a prep card, right? So you can just play this down. Each time minion schemes, they help you remove the threat. This will bypass the patrol, even if the minion has patrol themselves, right? Because they're the one that's removing it, right? This doesn't have a thwart activation, so you're not actually thwarting it. That is really cool. And Prism Dust, here's a 1-cost upgrade. Another prep card here, max 1 per player. I wish you could put 3 of them in play at once. That'd be really cool to prep a lot. But max 1 per player probably balances out a lot better. Hero response attack. After a minion enters play, discard Prism Dust, confuse that minion, and deal 2 damage to it. When they enter play, you discard this, confuse it, and do 2 damage to it. Okay, that's not my favorite effect here. It's similar to like Widow's Bite, I guess, from Black Widow. You can confuse a minion, but I guess you want them to scheme, right? Because you want to trigger the informant. So I'm not sure. I feel like this card is a lot better here. But oh, a lot of Agents of Shield cards, if you put a stats card on them, you just knock them out, right? So if they have that new keyword, that I forgot exactly what it is, but yeah, so you can do 2 damage, but you can when you confuse them in, then they get knocked out, or you can discard them, right, with that new keyword. Naturally, this isn't the only preparation card in Nick Fury's deck. Okay, so this is the cards that we talked about here, and then they can thwart for you instead of scheming. Remember that his stuff suit makes enemies scheme against him when they would normally attack, which makes this card particularly useful while infiltrating the scene. So you can use it in hero form as well, right? Because the minions will scheme. And oh, maybe that might be why Prism Dust. No, but then if you use your stealth form upgrade, or if you use your suit and the villain attacks you, they scheme instead. Then you have to flip back over to assault form, right? Let me check. Is that how that works? The stealth suit here, force interrupt, and then when they would attack, they scheme instead. Place 1/3. Oh my goodness! Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, you stay in stealth. When an enemy would attack you, it schemes instead. Place 1/3. So you can just stay in stealth the entire time. Oh, the only way to flip over is to attack. I think there's no other way. So actually, maybe it might be better. You might actually want to flip over, but you get more bonuses and stuff. I feel like that is very unique. I'm not sure. One thing that's really cool about this is that unlike Shadowcat, and I was completely wrong about what I said about that comparison, because Nick has advantages for being in stealth and in assault form. It's not that cut and dry. Do you want to be in stealth or assault? It's very flexible and based on a situation which form you want to be in. So that's very unique here. Sometimes assault form might be better if you want the villain to just attack you, and stealth might be better otherwise if you have the prep cards down. Okay, that's very interesting. Let me see, where were we at, guys? Okay, so and then both these are prep cards. Okay, and then I'm not reading this correctly. Zero cost upgrade, practice plan. It's a basic card, prep card here for 0 cost. I really like that. Max 1 per player still, though. I don't like that max 1 per player. As a response, after you discard a prep card you control, discard. So after you discard a prep card you control, discard practice plan. Return that card to your hand from discard pile. Okay, so if you resolve a prep card here, you discard with the effect, right? So then you can trigger the, what did we just look at? The practice plan. And each time you do a prep card, you can trigger Nick Fury's effect from that. I think this is a secret agent upgrade where you move a threat anywhere on his stealth suit, right? Is that what it was? Yeah, secret agent. Okay, Nick Fury looks super duper complex. I am not understanding how he works here at all, guys. But he looks to be a very fun hero here, and we really have to figure out how to play him, how to maneuver through him. But I think he's very, very complex. Hopefully, he's not like as complex as Domino. But yeah, he's looking pretty fun here. I do like the stuff, but I feel like there's not as much of an advantage of flipping over to Alter Ego, right? Because I usually like to flip down to Alter Ego, but I feel like Nick Fury already kind of has a pseudo Alter Ego if he's in his stealth suit form, in hero form, but minus the +1 hand size because you get hand size of 6 in Alter Ego, so I'm not sure how that will work. And then he's an incredibly skilled spy, and then let's see, he can call on the aid of his father, Nick Fury Sr. here. Oh, that's so cool. So they have the OG Nick Fury here. It's a 4-cost ally, basic ally here. Shooting Soldier, 3 hit points, 2/2. So actually the exact same stat line as the superpowered Nick Fury that came in the core set here. So they're the same stat line. That's very interesting. Force response is going to be the exact same thing. After Nick Fury Sr. enters play, choose one, remove 3 threat from his game, draw 2 cards, or give a shield character a tough stats card. At the end of the round, if Nick Fury is in play, discard him. Very, very similar. I really like how they did this card. He removes 3 threat from his scheme. So more than the Nick Fury, the core set Nick Fury basic ally, because that one only does 2, I believe. Or you can draw 2 cards. That is way worse, because drawing 3 cards for a 4 cost and the same stat line is much better. So we probably don't want to do that one. or give a shield character a tough stats card. That might be the one that we go for, right? This would prevent stuff like overkill. And getting a tough is very versatile in Marvel Champions. Yeah, I'm not sure. Definitely the core set one is still better, but I like how you can run them both now, right? Because it's Nick Fury Senior and regular Nick Fury. So even with the unique trait, you can have them both in your deck if you're not playing as a Nick Fury hero. That can be pretty fun here. Drawing two cards, I mean, it's not terrible, especially if you can pay for this card really cheap with like the Power Novels or something like that. That's really interesting. Um, and then if he's struggling to get his gadgets into play, Leo Fitz. This is a support, 3-cost support persona. Reduce the cost of playing by 2 if your deck has a shoot trait. Okay, so you can still play him if you don't have the shoot trait. That's pretty cool that it's not that it's not trait locked to shield. But you probably just want to play it if you're in shield, right? Because 3 costs versus 1 cost, I feel that's a huge difference. And after you go action, you can exhaust his card, search your deck for a tech card, and add to your hand. Exhaust him, search your deck for a tech card, and add to your hand. Okay, so you can. Oh, that's actually really cool. He says in play forever. Every time you do that, you can just add a card to your hand. This will give a big reason to flip down to Alter Ego because Nick Fury has a bunch of tech cards, and you flip down, you get a +1 to your hand. You play this card for only 1 because Nick Fury has a shoe trait. That's really cool. I feel like this works really well with Nick Fury specifically. And you also have Gemma Simmons, I can't say that. 3-cost support, reduce the cost of player by 2. So same exact thing if you have the shoe trait. Resource, you can exhaust to generate a mental resource for a tech card. Okay, so these guys work really well together, and this is not an Alter Ego resource or hero resource. You use an Alter Ego or hero form. Gives it a lot of versatility, combining that with Leo Fitz here, so you can grab the card and you can generate a resource for it. That's pretty cool. And then of course, Fury can team with Maria Hill. Okay, their team up card here, 0-cost event. That's really good. Hero action plays a total of 3 all-purpose counters and or threat tokens on shield supports and or suit form upgrades. I feel if you're playing Maria Hill, you have to run the Nick Fury ally and this card. This is like, that's an all include, right? That's so good. Holy cow. 3 all-purpose counters for 0 cost. And if you're playing both of them, I mean, that's really good. It's not or, right? It says and or. That's crazy because the flora and fauna for Rocket and Groot, it's not and or, right? You have to pick to give Groot some stuff or give Rocket some stuff, but they also get it ready, right? But I mean, I feel like this is a lot more versatile. I really like this team up card here. It's maybe one of the best team up cards to date. I don't know if it's as good as Gamora and Nebula's, but it just adds a lot more versatility to always be ready for action. And we have the Alter Ego art here. Okay, that's it with the article here. Let's see. He's an awesome super spy and a fantastic addition to the game's roster of playable heroes. Look forward to taking on the Agents of AIM as both Nick and Maria whenever Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. releases in February 2025. All right, guys, that is it with the article. I am still a little bit confused here, guys. If you guys know this, please definitely comment down below for the eye patch camera. It's a 2-cost upgrade. Does this prevent all the threat from going on the main scheme or only up to 3? And the villain schemes for like 10, the 7 threats still go on the main scheme. Because I think that will make or break this card. Because I feel like, I don't know if I want the villain scheming if it doesn't prevent all of it. Yeah, definitely know about that. But yeah, I don't know. I thought I would be more excited for Nick after seeing that he mitigates threats. I think Maria Hill looks to be a lot more powerful, and Nick Fury may be more fun because you have to find like exactly how to play him, and that might be a fun puzzle to figure him out because of his forced interrupts to being in his assault suit form, and then when you want to actually be in the stealth suit form, right? That balance, I think. I'm looking at an article here. I have no clue what's the correct balance to be in for that assault and stealth suit form. I thought that probably the stealth suit was better, but I like that it's not better, right? Because whenever you're playing Shadowcat, I feel it's kind of boring because you always want to be in that phase form. It doesn't matter. It's like, okay, if I can get to phase, I'm gonna get to phase. I don't want to go back to solid mass form. For Nick Fury, sometimes it's better to be in a soft form depending on what's on the board, and sometimes it's better to be in stealth. So I think that he looks very interesting and fun. But yeah, we'll have to actually play him to see how he works. If it's too overly complicated like Domino, he probably won't be my favorite, but I am interested to see how he works. I hope you guys enjoyed this first look and preview with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.